Hello, everyone, and I'm back with another video. Man says male and middle and high school teachers need briefings on how to resist indulging in developing students with raging hormones. He says we all got eyes, child. Yeah, that's why a lot of them are registered now. There's a man named Flockatrent on TikTok is going viral after offering some disturbing advice to male educators about being around young girl students. In the video, the man says we have eyes while discussing how teachers we can see when girl students are developing. Oh my lord. They got female students, but it's a girl student because they are girls. They're young girls. He also points to educators working in middle and high schools around students with rage and hormones and argues that male teachers, grown men teachers, need briefings and seminars as if the policies aren't working and you being registered as a PDF or the threat of going to jail isn't working. Seminars teaching them, grown men, not to indulge with young girls, people's children. But his reasoning is what has many people disturbed. Instead of emphasizing that these are children, I said, who should never be viewed as potential sexual partners by these adults entrusted with educating and protecting them, his warning largely focused on the consequences for the men. He warns that teachers could lose their jobs, lose their families, and get arrested. Yeah. The framing puts the focus in the wrong place. A young girl going through puberty is not an invitation. Developing your chest area, hips, or curves does not make a child grown, promiscuous, or available to an adult. Even if a teenager has a crush on a teacher, flirts, or tests a boundary, maintaining that boundary is entirely the adult's, man or woman, grown. That is that man or woman's responsibility. Men educators shouldn't need to be taught not to engage with children because they could get caught. They should be taught that students are children placed in their care and their developing bodies, clothing, or hormones never change that. So we're gonna get started with this because I see a lot on the internet anyway where people are always trying to like explain situations about people where they were a certain age in this state and they were a certain age with that state, disregarding the fact that at the end of the day, that is still the child, 16, 17, whatever you want to call it. That person's mind is not developed to handle you being in your 20s, your 30s, and especially your 40s. You are not supposed to be there to coerce a child that you are the alternative in their life, besides them focusing on their education and their health and well being. And blaming them because of raging hormones and because of how their body look is enticing to you because that inner demon in you can't handle somebody's child minding their business and is there for education, and you shouldn't be there at all. You should be under somebody's jail registered, really, because you could maintain your boundary as an adult, as somebody that's put there as a teacher to teach these kids as well as watch over them. You are basically, when these children meet you, besides their teacher, you're their counselor. They come to you in most instances when things are happening in their lives. Why? Because why do I know? Because I've been a student, and you do come to your teacher for sound advice. You don't expect them to take advantage of you because of where your mindset is, and you don't expect for them to cross a line because of how you look or how you are developed and what clothes you're wearing, because you as a grown man couldn't restrain yourself. So you feel the need to warn somebody because you are obviously having these thoughts in your head. And if you are in a school, you need to be fired, because I'm going to show you this video that I have after I get through with this video with him, where there was actually a video where he's talking about they need to have seminars, but there is people trusting their kids to the people in the school, a coach. He took advantage of this girl and was talking to her as if she was a grown woman. They called him the Mr. Let Me Taste You Man. So I'm going to start with the videos on this guy first.
Fly can turn checking in. Hey man, somebody gotta speak on this shit, bro. So listen, bro. Y'all gotta start briefing the male teachers that teach in middle school and high school. Y'all also gotta start briefing the coaches. Because one thing, nobody wanna talk about the elephant in the room. Y'all got these grown men around these raging hormone young girls that's developing, bro. Hey, dog, don't lose your job over that. Don't lose your family over that. Don't get sent to prison and have a fucking charge on your jacket over that. Because we all got eyes. Y'all can see just like I can see. Them girls is developing fast as a mug. Y'all probably saying, you shouldn't even have to have that conversation with grown men. As a man who know other men, yeah, you got to have that conversation with some motherfuckers. Because you got to let motherfuckers know, hey, bro, you ain't going to get away with that shit. You'll get caught. It's sad, but you got to have that conversation. And everybody who's in coaching and teaching run from that conversation in high school.
So you are basically sitting here not understanding what you're saying. That's why you should think before you act. You're telling grown men to fight a resistance of people's children, instead of telling them that they shouldn't be working somewhere if that's how they feel. They shouldn't be in a place if they are looking at young girls or boys in this way. Actually, in schools, high school, middle school, elementary school, and we can take it all the way back to preschool, there is policies in place that address that if you, under any circumstances, as a teacher that is regarded as some educator that is supposed to be guiding these kids and protecting them, you will be dealt with to the highest degree of the law. And once that's done of you, from what we've seen on a lot of the videos, you will become a registered PDL following those actions. So you are trying to warn them that girls are enticing and that it can be a hard job, but you just got to resist it. And it should be a meeting upon just talking about girls. And then I'm going to show them this video of you talking, but at the same time, you have a very trashy mouth when it comes to situations. And you can see why you was trying to say something, but your true side was talking at the same time. And that's how it usually goes with somebody that should be basically monitored at this point, that you was trying to say one thing while meaning exactly what you meant in another aspect. And that makes you very yucky.
You feel me? Because you got girls who sexually active early. You got girls who they think they women because their bodies looking like women and they having women symptoms. You feel me? Now mix that with a motherfucker who ain't never really had women, don't have the confidence to go shoot at women his age. Man,
He shouldn't be in school, sir. Instead of you measuring that, you should have just been like, he shouldn't be at school around girls. If you know somebody like that, you should be letting the school know so they won't be around kids, around girls and boys. Because you sound real suspicious right now.
this motherfucker in a candy store. So I feel like it needs to be briefings early on. It needs to be seminars held for specifically for targeting men, telling them why you shouldn't try to indulge in a high school student. Cause let's keep it a beam, bro. When we was in high school,
Again, there are policies in place that state this, sir. And you should have Googled or even asked Chat GPT so you could be further educated and knowing this. This is in the policy for teachers and coaches, male and female, from the top of the building to the principal to the coach. Everybody is aware, including the law enforcement officers that work in the building around the children. Hmm? See, this is what happens when you don't gather facts on something. Let me find out if they have policies in place on this situation before I speak on it. That's what I would have done because I would have want to know. And he's talking about his experience, but he's forgetting or failed to inform himself that there was always a policy in effect. Always.
the girls in high school was starry-eyed over the motherfucking coaches and older men that was around, bro. They were starry-eyed. So yeah, this is a conversation that needs to be had because there's too much shit popping up in the news. And
I never had a crush on the older men in school. The guy that was our PE teacher, he reminded us of like the Black Michael Knight because he wore these khaki dress pants and these black boots with his 1970s type shirt, and he had a curl, soul glow type of curl. His name was Mr. Russell. And it was no way I was going to ever, in any beginning or ending, be attracted to a teacher. It just wasn't in my mindset to be attracted to my teacher. And I've seen like male teachers through the years, and of course they're handsome, but I never put it in my mind that that's somebody that I would want to date. We were like story eyed behind the star football basketball player, sir. So yeah, but I'm caught up on the fact that yeah, times have changed. We're in a time now where the coaches and the teachers are much younger, and the male teachers that have been caught or gotten into trouble, as well as females, have done so because they have always been a monster. And it's not fair because I have a son in school, he's 9 years old. And it's not fair that we have to deal with the thought of a teacher coming on to our child, manipulating them and coercing them. But there are policies in place that I know for a fact that protects my child. So if you go into school breaking a law, then you're going to have to face the consequences of that and being a registered PDF for the rest of your life. It's no ins and outs, no excuse for it. And you keep trying to make every other excuse instead of just being real. How about you not become a teacher and stop watching all the corn? Okay. Therefore, and get therapy while you at it because you obviously have an addiction problem in that corn area that's causing you to not be able to restrict yourself around people's kids. Yeah. And maybe they should keep your kids from around you as well, in case you have any. Okay, I'm gonna make this video play.
Been too much shit. You feel me? Y'all are y'all not talking to y'all coaching staff? Y'all not. You don't want to know why? Cause don't nobody want to act. Don't nobody want to be called weird. Oh, you looking at girls? No, nigga, I'm not looking. It's in my fucking face, just like it's in your face. Stop acting like you don't see it. That's why we need to speak about it. Cause everybody don't act like they don't see this shit. This shit is right in our face.
So just because she passes by you in her gym shorts, or you just happen to go in the area of where the girls are, and because it's in your face, you're gonna go ahead and look at it like prime rib steak dangling off a string. You can't turn around and walk away, but you want to make it very obvious that I see that and I can't resist looking. So I'm gonna look because it ain't my fault. It's in my face. It just sounds like somebody that's arguing against restraining themselves, doesn't it? It sounds like he's arguing against restraining himself and just using common sense, cognizant sense, and just being educated about what and who he really is.
I think what bothered me the most is the why. You shouldn't be doing this because you're going to get caught, and not because these are children.
Cause we all got eyes. The girls are developing fast as a mother.
A child going through puberty does not suddenly become available to adults. So hip spreading, wearing shorts, getting taller, developing breasts is still a child. And another thing that makes me sick is that a lot of these grown men try to assign adult sexuality to children's bodies. You cannot determine a child's sexual history or even a woman's sexual history by simply looking at their body or their clothing.
It needs to be briefings early on. It needs to be seminars held specifically for targeting men, telling them why you shouldn't try to indulge in a high school student.
And even if a child was to have a crush on a teacher, the responsibility still falls on the adult to report inappropriate behavior. There should never be a "she came on to me" defense. Really listen to how that sounds. A male educator needs advice on how to resist a student.
Cause we all.
That is so true. That is so true. I'm glad she said that to finish out my point. You should be, once you walk away, you should report what happened, because you don't know what might arrive from that. Another student might tell it and it might come out differently from what happened. And now you got a real problem on your hand because you didn't say anything. But he doesn't seem to care. This is who he is.
Got eyes.
This also made me think about some of the things that I heard growing up differently. I used to be so aggravated when my mom would tell me, "Oh, put on some clothes. Take them shorts off. You're not about to be walking around no grown men like this." And I'm like, it's the summer. It's hot outside. Or it's just shorts. Like, what's the issue? The issue wasn't me. The issue is that there are grown men out there who will sexualize a child just because you're showing skin. But the reality is, girls should never have to carry that burden. A developing girl should not be responsible for a grown man's thoughts.
Don't lose your job over that. Don't lose your family over that. Don't get sent to prison and have.
This is exactly why a lot of parents are cautious about the adults that they allow around their children, because a lot of times these predators don't look predatory. It could look like your teacher. It could look like your coach. It could look like your youth pastor. It can look like your uncle.
It needs to be seminars held targeting men, telling them why you shouldn't try to indulge in a high school student.
This is such a tired conversation, and I really hate that we still have to have it in 2026. But I don't know, neighbors. What are y'all thoughts? Comment below.
Yeah, if I tell you, he missed the mark. Whatever he was trying to do, he did it all wrong. It just was like, what were you trying to do?
Talk about the elephant in the room. Y'all got these grown men around these raging hormone young girls that y'all got to start briefing the male teachers that teach in middle school and high school. Them girls is developing fast as a mother. Y'all probably saying you shouldn't even have to have that conversation with grown men. As a man, for your wife,
Yep, this.
they gonna try to convince your wife. Call that the schools fucking the kids.
I'm gonna
Conversation and every.
I'm gonna go back because he had this extended from the last video. This extended, but he cussed so much. I don't know if I might keep the video or not, and if I do, I'm gonna have to splice the words out because he doesn't even know how to warn people without cursing. So
Somebody who's in coaching and teaching run from that conversation. It needs to be spoke on, man. Hey, dog. Don't lose your job over that. Don't lose your family over that. Don't get sent to prison and have a fucking charge on your jacket over that. When you're a masculine male, bro, trying to take charge and want to have tough conversations like this, to be honest, this is not a conversation for. We want to be honest, though. It's more.
So this is so disrespectful. It's not a conversation for the bees. Oh, that's what they are. They're not women. But you still have to, in any regard, when you talk about teachers or coaches, there are women and men coaches. But he just want to cycle that in anyway to reverse chat this and play on this manipulation conversation. But I'm going to let him continue to sink itself.
Women these days getting caught at the schools. You're a masculine man. They're going to put everybody against you, bro. They're going to turn your girl against you.
A real masculine man doesn't let children, girls, and boys entice him into thinking about going to jail and ruining his livelihood and his family. A masculine man doesn't get on here worried about a girl's development and the shorts she has on and curviness of her body and development of her chest area and to entice you and to say, well, we all got eyes, so I'm just going to look anyway, instead of resisting. A masculine man would walk away and report if a girl or a boy decided to come on to them and not entertain the situation. He's trying to draw in drama, but it's just causing drama on him. And also, I'm gonna note that he took the original video down, y'all. We went back to his TikTok I was gonna download the original, but I got the original on Instagram because everybody has it now. But on his page, he's pretty much either privated it or deleted the video. But all these other videos, he talks crazy. He's foul at the mouth, and he sexualizes women, their bodies.
Because when you're going to speak on stuff, they didn't already put in her mind, you're sassy. That go for your wife. They're going to try to convince your wife that you control them. Weird that in today's society,
somebody wrote on here, I was trying my best to understand what he was talking about, but he's just another man talking with no talking points, but hating women for being women and children for being children. Blocked. Yeah, that's what it is. He wants to be able to be with somebody's little girl and get away with it. That's the problem. That's a problem a lot of them have.
Y'all be so against men. I made a video about saying that male teachers need to be prepped on how to conduct themselves. Even the ones who know how to conduct themselves.
Prep. They don't need to, sir. When they get the job, they have orientation. And in orientation, they are briefed. They don't need to be prepped. You are briefed and given a policy, basically your warning, and fraternization is in there. And it explains, do not touch the children, basically. Don't touch them. Don't look at them. Don't coerce them. So all that's in there, sir. And yeah, you're on here. You're trying to talk about 100 different talking points. And it seems like you're really just mad with the world because you got in trouble with a situation like this or something close to this, because it's giving that. It's giving
They
that.
need to hear it too. And you should see go look on my page. You should see the fucking women in my comments being nasty. Ooh, that's weird. That's weird. A man shouldn't have to be told. Some men need to be told. Some men need to be reminded. But it's crazy that.
How do you need to be reminded? Are you malfunctioning, sir? Because you see a young girl? So you're malfunctioning. That's what it is. You need a reboot. The reboot you're going to get is jail and register PDF.
When a masculine man take charge, y'all don't want to hit it. Like what this sister said. And see, let me tell y'all something. In my last video, I told y'all, women will try to call a man, especially a masculine man. A woman will try to call a masculine.
You're not a masculine man. You're a weird man. You're a weirdo. You're a man that should be under surveillance. And you're a man that should be registered at this point. Matter of fact, you're not a man. You're a boy child who needs development and therapy.
Masculine man, weird for pointing out the obvious. If you work in a school setting and you are a man, it's certain shit you should not even engage in to put yourself. Never understood why men would even have these thoughts. Like, bro, this is crazy. And I work with high schools. Nigga, I got daughters, nigga. That's why I got the fucking thoughts. I got daughters, nigga.
Oh, Lord.
I got daughters.
Shouldn't even have to have that conversation.
Oh,
Shouldn't even have to have that conversation.
Are they his daughters? So are they his daughters? Oh, he got daughters, y'all. So that's the demon that he's fighting. It's finally, now we know. Now we know. We know. I thought he maybe was a coach and he was around students, but he's around his own girls. So why are we surprised? We've seen the latest case of a lot of men that have been assaulting their daughters lately. Oh, Lord. Whoever the mother is to this man's child, I hope y'all don't live together. And if they go visit him or spend the night, I hope you are letting your daughters know to let you know anything that is weird that may be occurring when he's around. If they're in their shorts or some type of jogging pants or anything that makes them look curvy to him, or if they're developed in the chest area, that they should take note of that. Since he has eyes, he says he got eyes. Whoever the mother of his child is, just be on hypervigilance and make sure that you are letting your daughters know to be very cautious around him. And if your daughters, matter of fact, ask your daughter, has anything weird happened around this man? And if it has, please call the police expeditiously. 1018.
As a man who know other men, yeah, you gotta have that conversation with some motherfuckers, because you gotta let motherfuckers know, hey, bro, you ain't gonna get away with that shit. You'll get caught.
Let me put this back.
Place, but don't chase. Need to be reminded. But it's crazy that when a masculine man, shit you should not even engage in to put yourself by weird niggas. Y'all seen I made the video talking about that they need to be clear, concise messages to teachers and coaches of the males that, hey, these is girls, little girls.
Before I play the next video, since I ended that, it just shows his mindset. He gets real disrespectful at the end of that video. So yeah, I'm gonna play this next video that basically lets you know how far the men will take things in school. And this is the let me lollipop you coach, lick you coach. Okay, girl.
And stay around. She always comes up, hugs me, kiss on the cheek like I kiss all of them on the cheek. Like, you all right? You good? I helped them pay for her to get an abortion. I'm just too nice. It is what it is. I'm gonna lose my job.
A Valentine's Day text message. That's how it started. What followed would destroy a coach's career, shatter a community's trust, and expose how predators hide in plain sight behind the uniform of mentorship. This is the story of James Edward Ford III, January 2024. Ocala, Florida. A 43-year-old assistant football coach initiated inappropriate contact with a student under his supervision. To anyone watching from the outside, James Ford seemed like exactly what a high school coach should be. Dedicated. Present. Someone students could trust. But what began as text messages would spiral into something far darker, hidden behind closed doors and parking lot encounters, until a school resource officer received information that would unravel everything. Westport High School sits in Ocala, where Ford had built his reputation as an assistant football coach. By day, he worked for the city. By evening, he coached students, positioning himself as a mentor figure in their lives. For years, no one questioned his closeness to the athletes. Coaches are supposed to be approachable, after all. They're supposed to care. But there's a line between mentorship and manipulation, and Ford had crossed it long before anyone realized. In January 2024, Ford sent inappropriate messages to a student under his supervision. It sounds innocent enough to say a coach was messaging a student. But context changes everything. This wasn't a peer. This was someone under his authority, someone who looked up to him as a coach. The two began communicating regularly through text messages and phone calls. Conversations that seemed normal for a coach checking in on a student. Until it wasn't. For months, their communication remained digital. The student likely believed she could trust him. He was a coach, after all, someone whose job was to guide and protect young athletes. But by August 2024, everything escalated. Ford and the student began meeting outside of school. First with other people present, at restaurants and public spaces. Then, gradually, the meetings became private. These encounters occurred in various locations, including once in a school locker room.
So he didn't restrain himself. He had manipulated and coerced the student at this point. I actually have the full video down in my videos where you can search, because I'm not going to show y'all the whole video here since I already have the full video itself down in my videos. If you want to go view that video, it is there for your liking. So I'm going to probably let you watch a few more minutes of this. Okay.
About that for a moment. A school locker room, where students are supposed to feel safe, where adults are supposed to maintain professional boundaries. Ford violated that space. He violated that trust. And it didn't stop there. In September 2024, Ford sent inappropriate messages referencing plans to meet at public locations. This wasn't about mentorship anymore. This wasn't about being a supportive coach. According to police reports, Ford engaged in it with the minor. The victim was a student under his supervision. Let that sink in. A child who should have been focused on school, friends, and her future. Instead, she was entangled with a 43-year-old man who held power over her as a coach. Someone she was conditioned to respect and obey. The truth began to surface when a school resource officer was notified of a possible inappropriate relationship between Ford and the student. And when investigators began digging, the full scope of Ford's actions emerged. Detective Blanton interviewed the victim, who disclosed the timeline of her relationship with Ford. The text messages that began in January. The in-person meetings that started in August. All of it documented in the police report. When Ford learned someone had made a complaint about his actions, he instructed the victim to delete all of their text messages. It's the classic move of someone who knows they've done something wrong. Destroy the evidence. Cover your tracks. Hope no one finds out. But it was too late. On January 17, 2025, James Edward Ford III was arrested at his Marion Oaks residence. Officers transported him to the police department for an interview before booking him into Marion County Jail. Let's take a look at the interrogation.
All right, so why do you...
Okay, and that's the conclusion of that. So if you want to watch the rest of that, like I say, it's down in the description of my video. Not this one, but if you scroll down in my videos, you will see that video, Mr. Lick Me Coach. and it tells the full story of what happened, and it goes beyond what you think. So in this research, I of course Googled the information about teacher and student harassment and misconduct in school. And it says research shows that roughly 10% of students experience some form of sexual misconduct or harassment by an educator before finishing high school. The issue spans verbal harassment, grooming, a physical relationships driven by a deep imbalance of power between adults and students, as you just heard them repeat on the previous video. About 9.6% to 10% of high school students report experiencing sexual misconduct from school staff, verbal comments, or of a sexual nature, or the most frequently reported type of misconduct. Groups at higher risk include students with disabilities, children with communication needs, and minority students. Most people who commit these acts are male, making up about 89% of cases, in case he didn't understand that. Let me repeat that again. It says, who's responsible? Most people who commit these acts are male, making up about 89% of cases. Hope I said that clearly. Academic classroom teachers commit about 63% of reported misconduct. And this is not excusing the women teachers, but as you can see, the male teachers dominate in that area. Athletic coaches and gym teachers account for roughly 20% of reported incidents. And see, he didn't go over this because he spoke on coaches because he knew this would be in the report, but he didn't give you the percentile. While most offenders are male, female educators' misconduct is also documented across various studies. Only about 4% of students report or disclose educator misconduct to authorities when it happens. State tracking systems and agencies report thousands of open investigations yearly into inappropriate educator-student communications and physical boundary violations. More than 40 states have specific laws that criminalize relationships, that criminalize inappropriate relationships. So more than 40 states have specific laws that criminalize inappropriate relationships between school staff and students, recognizing that students cannot legally consent to an authority figure. And so that's what I wanted to get out, that he, in a way, kind of missed and neglected to report on, but I will happily report on it. And I'm just hoping that he keeps getting a swift verbal whipping on this, because and we have children that are in school that we want them to feel safe, and we don't want them to have to worry about some grown man or woman, the man of the grown man, the 89% grown male part of grown men that can't restrain themselves, that feel like because somebody's curvy and they have certain things develop, their body's developing, you can't restrain yourself, so you're gonna do what you do as a man in a school like it's a club. You want to treat the school like you done walked in a club and it's free, everything everywhere to you. It's like your playground, basically. And you want to frolic around and play. And I hope, like I say, that he continues to get the tongue lashings that he's been getting on TikTok, because he didn't make any sense in what he was explaining, and even the backup videos he tried to explain, it still didn't make sense. And if you go on his page, oh my God, he's very, very misogynistic. He hates women because he can't do what he wants to them. He basically he projects onto women. He fetishizes them. Not just women, girls also. And he's the type, if he doesn't have his way, he's gonna probably do something to you besides cuss you out and call you every name in the book because he can't get what he wants. So, like I say, I hope that the mother of his daughter is being very vigilant around those girls, because he is something that, I mean, I don't, he just kind of revealed himself on here. And hey, it is what it is. But yeah, y'all get down below. Let me know how you feel about it, and oh, excuse me, and your thoughts. So I will come back with another one later, guys. And I will see you guys in the next one, okay? Have a good, blessed morning. Peace.